our players are on stage, and there it is.
Either of these teams. So if you're going to go for something like the beat up, or you're going to be able to go for something like the loaded dice, there is no way for you to actually get it away from the intended target. But let's see what we got for this first game.
Yeah, our first game of our first round of the Latin American International Championships. It is the classic combo, Mousehold versus Hydreigon up against the Sneasler and Basque Legion.
Yeah, so classic.
Extremely classic. Everyone's familiar with that one. I love this. You get immediate pressure coming off from the Hydreigon. The Mousehold is able to protect it as well. As you can see, the Sneasler has to immediately switch out in favor of the Pelipper. Sets the rain, gives an immediate boost to that Basque Legion to make it the fastest thing on the field.
Yeah, and as soon as I say that there isn't anything with redirection, I forgot that Mousehold exists, and it usually has Follow Me. But with the switches that we see here, it's actually with the Golden Goat that is going to be able to resist something like the water type attack, but, or sorry, it won't. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah, this wave crash is a huge problem. That was going into a Hydreigon, which would have been a resisted hit instead. Just an easy one-hit KO on the Golden Go on the switch in, while James, hoping to get a little too cute there, goes for the Protect on the Mousehold. Thought that no way that Patrick's going to target down the Hydreigon. It resists Last Respects, it resists the Wave Crash. Why would you ever target the Hydreigon? Well, sometimes that Hydreigon is a Golden Go.
And sometimes the calculations that we kind of think in our head about a resisted attack, like something like Wave Crash, get totally messed up because you're looking at a Wave Crash with same type attack bonus in the rain. There's so many multipliers on top of this that make Basque Legion be able to take out these big forces, even if those attacks are actually going to be resisted.
Yeah, and of course now that Basque Legion is the fastest thing on the field, and both of these Pokemon, like you mentioned, are looking pretty threatened. Fortunately for James, that Mousehold still has Focus Sash intact, so can tank a single Wave Crash if it goes for the Follow Me to protect the Hydreigon, which will be able to then start firing off big attacks with those choice specs. But at this point, you're kind of just hoping that Basque Legion knocks itself out with recoil.
But not before it's going to be able to take out two other Pokemon with it. And so as you see the Wave Crash into the Hydreigon, that's 50%.
Yeah, more than resisted hit, by the way.
Yeah, right?
Well, there is the recoil damage and the Life Orb damage, while Mousehold has done nothing so far this game. Got called out on the Protect turn 1, the Super Fang goes into the Protect of the Pelipper, and the Hydreigon as well, whipping the Dark Pulse into the Pelipper's Protect. Patrick is playing so well, has gotten every single turn right so far.
And that's the big thing, is with that double Protect, or at least the Protect being able to take away both of those attacks, James was already behind. I think he's even more so. The Follow Me here from the Mousehold is really nice to make sure that this Hydreigon can actually do something. But take a look at this Basque Legion. Yeah,
well, the Basque Legion's going to knock Mousehold all the way back down to Focus Sash. And again, the saving grace here is Basque Legion has now taken 3 turns of Wave Crash recoil, plus 3 turns of Life Orb recoil, which means that it has done so much damage. It's done almost 3 health bars worth of damage before it knocks itself out. But now it's off the field and the Dark Pulse finally connects, but Patrick has been able to set the Tailwind here, so the final Pokemon that come in.
And the final Pokemon right now is going to be our Chaladon. I think this is the perfect choice. You got the Tailwind set up. You still have the Rain active for the next couple of turns. And so this is the perfect opportunity for you to be able to set up this Chaladon as well. Go for the Electro Shots. They're going to charge up immediately. And you've got 2 targets that are not going to want to take either of those attacks.
Nope. That Hydreigon is way too weak to tank any attack coming out from that Archaladon. The Mousehold is at 1 hit point. Rillaboom is basically the only Pokemon that can come in here. And fortunately for James, he does have that in the back. The Assault Vest is going to be really important here to keep that Pokemon healthy against these special attackers. Mousehold goes for another Protect here. James keeps trying to protect this Mousehold, hopes to bait out more attacks into that Pokemon, as Archaladon will go for the Electro Shot. Charges up immediately, gets the special attack boost, and Patrick is not falling for it. Still targeted down the Hydreigon. Now the Rillaboom, and there's the cover for the switch. A Hurricane coming out from Pelipper, dealing big damage. Again, Patrick has gotten every turn right.
And that's damage with Rillaboom holding an Assault Vest. That super effective hit is going to make this Rillaboom so much easier to actually take out here. Another double up from the Pelipper and the Archaladon is going to be easy enough to take it out. Even if the Hydreigon were able to come back in and be able to select a new...
We're just going to need to shake things up here and try to make something different happen.
Right, well, as we head into game number 2, we
Yeah.
can see that there is actually going to be a pivot. Instead of that golden go being in the back, it's going to be in the front.
Yeah.
And similarly for Patrick, you've got the Rain duo again.
Yeah, I love leading the Rain duo here. Patrick realizes that he's not going to be able to bait out a Golden Go switch again with the Sneasler.
No way.
And James is like, well, what if I just bring the Golden Go out immediately? Then I don't have to switch it in, and now Mousehold is able to protect it, and nasty plots can come off. Here's the Follow Me from the Mousehold, going to redirect attention from both of Patrick's Pokemon. James is not going to allow Golden Go to get knocked out turn on the switch and without doing anything this time around. There's the Focus Sash from the Wave Crash, dealing so much damage to itself on the recoil. With the Life Orb, that's over 50%, I believe. The Golden Go's targeting down the Pelipper. James does not think Patrick is just going to let him take the KO on the Basculegion, but Patrick is not afraid and gets the Tailwind up.
Okay, so I love this because this Basculegion is still going to be the fastest thing on the field. Mousehold is still around, so it's able to redirect away another Wave Crash with Follow Me, but you also have the opportunity here for Golden Go to actually secure a knockout, and I think that is the biggest deal. You don't necessarily have to play around something like Protect, even though Pelipper and Basculegion both have it. You have already done more of this Golden Go than you did in that first game, and James is certainly trying to play around the fact that Pelipper was able to do so much to his team in game number 1.
Absolutely, and with the recoil that almost dealt 50% to Basculegion, looks like more like 30-40% there instead of 50, puts it well in range of Rillaboom if James has that Pokemon in the back. So Basculegion is pretty much out of the fight right now, as Mousehold will go ahead and redirect once more. Basculegion picks up the KO, another huge Wave Crash coming out to pick up that 1 hit point on the Mousehold. Will take more damage from the Life Orb recoil as well. But this does mean, like you were saying, Golden Go finally gets a chance to do something.
And I really like that it's going to be just being able to withstand something like this Pelipper attack. Thank goodness you're not going to get something like Confusion, but the fact that you're able to Shadow Ball the Pelipper and you're able to knock it out leaves you so much more free to be able to keep in some of your other attackers that this Pelipper would have been able to actually do a lot into. Most notably, I'm thinking of the Rillaboom, who took over 50% HP from that Hurricane, even though it was holding something like the Assault Vest.
Absolutely, and ooh, the Incineroar is the new Pokemon coming out from Patrick. Gonna get intense value on the Rillaboom with that Intimidate. Unfortunately for Patrick, Basculegion has dealt too much damage to itself. Probably still well in range of a Grassy Glide from this Rillaboom, even after the Intimidate. But that Incineroar is able to potentially threaten a Fake Out to allow the Basculegion to get another Wave Crash or even a Last Respects into that Golden Go now, so you don't have to worry about the recoil. Or just go on the offensive itself. It has Knockoff, it has Flare Blitz, why not?
Yeah, why not? I think the knockoff and Flare Blitz, though, does make this a little bit anti-synergistic. I'm looking at the Flare Blitz and thinking, well, okay, I don't know what you're going to do in the rain right now, but it's not so bad to try. Golden Go has to protect itself this turn, though, because it is going to be in danger of getting knocked out.
Wow, how does Patrick get all of these turns correctly? Is not afraid of the Grassy Glide, is not, afraid of anything, just goes for the Last Respects into the Rillaboom. And Rillaboom now will go ahead and U-turn out into the Incineroar, hits a little bit of damage while the Incineroar whiffs into the Golden Go's Protect. So Patrick was covering both of those options, but just leaving this Basculegion out on the field, even though it was potentially a little bit threatened from that Grassy Glide. Perhaps Patrick knows something I don't know, and that after an Intimidate, Rillaboom doesn't pick up that KO, but now we've got the Hydreigon out, and we're closing in on Tailwind turns, which will be huge. Need to get that Basculegion off the field and the Tailwind off, and then James is going to be in pretty good position.
I don't think you can necessarily wait for that, though, especially because you have this Choice Specs Hydreigon. You don't have access to something like the Protect, so you're going to have to lock into something right now. James needs to play around the fact that he's going to be stuck with this Hydreigon until the end of this game. And so as we see the Last Respects have to hit into the Rillaboom, I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
The Hydreigon is locked.
Yep, Hydreigon is stuck out on the field with whatever attack it is locking into here. And of course, Incineroar loves having a choice Pokemon locked on the field because it can just start doing parting shots. If there was a physical Pokemon on the field, it gets to intimidate it every time. Fortunately for James, he's left with 2 special attacking Pokemon. So just the special attack drop from parting shot will be big, but that's huge going into the Archaludon.
Yeah, I mean, I know we were talking about the Assault Vest, but I love the call out of the Earth Power. You've gotten rid of the Pelipper, so this is very safe to go for. You're going to be able to get the Earth Powers into everything. super effective into the Archaludon and the Incineroar, and it's going to be able to do neutral damage to this Basculegion. So it makes it a little bit easier for you to try to win out this game. But you still have to deal with the fact that their Golden Go is very susceptible. This Archaludon is still going to take 3 hits to knock it out. If that, because you've got Grassy Terrain recovery.
Yeah, huge value from the parting shot there, preventing the Earth Power from picking up a 2-hit KO. Plus, like you mentioned, the anti-synergy there of the Grassy Terrain. Archaludon's like, yes, please regenerate all of my health while you boost my defense. And I can then start body pressing. Actually, I could Dragon Pulse even, just pick up the KO that way. And of course, this Basculegion has been out on the field since turn 1. Up against Pokemon like Hydreigon and the Golden Go, and Patrick has just not been afraid. Here comes the Terastallization. This is the first Terastallization all set.
Of this entire set, yeah. It's going to be the Grass Terra onto the Chaludon. This is going to be one of the most common Terras that we'll see. And another Wave Crash. That poor Golden Go can't get a break.
Yeah, Golden Go looking a little worse for the wear here. Not able to make it rain. Instead, it is the rain from the Pelipper that has been boosting the power of this Basculegion. Picks up the KO there. Archaludon actually slower than the Hydreigon, even with the Tailwind. And here comes the Dragon Pulse. Not quite a one-hit KO, but what are you going to do?
I mean, you can see just why this Grass Terra was so impactful, though. And I love Patrick's ability to just kind of hold that card close to his chest until he needs it most. Because with that Grass Terra, you were able to survive the Earth Power. You saw how little damage that did.
Yep. And of course, because the Hydreigon was locked into the Earth Power, there's